Good evening, everyone. It is Sunday night, and we are back for another awesome week of March. We're closing out March now with 3 more days, 4 more days, something like that. So we will be starting a new month this week, interesting as that seems. So we will start off by naming off some of the sponsors of the show. We've got Naughty Faeries with Wendy Steen Shaner. Naughty Faeries Stripper Assassins #5 is coming soon. Don't know that it's going to drop at the end of the month because there were some issues, but it will be coming soon. There's also the link in the description. If you missed out on Naughty Faeries Con, you can get in on that now. We also have Codex Entertainment LLC with Luis Torres, and check out his stuff that he has to offer. We have Lily the Demoness and also Ace and Starlet, as well as Whispers in Necropolis. Where's your sidekick, Jack Napier? Get out of here. He's probably, what's going on, stuff. And we've also got 183 Degrees with Kara Nicole and Alfred Trujillo, Doobie Doobie Doo. Check out their stuff on Patreon, as well as their books at 183 Degree Studios on Facebook and at their website. All of that can be found in the description as well. Also, Outpost 426 with CB Zane and Michael Shoemaker. Check out all their cool stories and the links above as well. Sorry, guys, it's kind of like an off night for me tonight. Think like your brainer. What? I don't know what you're saying, Steph. So anyway, without further ado, last sponsor for the night is going to be DPopp Customz. Check out Dustin Poppins in his Facebook page with DPopp Customz. You can get a custom lit frame for your posters or for your 11x17 metal, your holographic prints, and all that stuff. Check it out at DPopp Customz on Facebook. So without further ado, we're going to bring out Chandra Free. I think I got it right. I don't know. She'll correct me when I go. Chandra Free.
Chandra.
There we go.
Now, there we go.
Gosh, I'm gonna get there one of these times. I like
I said, just call me Chan. Just call me Chan.
Chan. All right. And the bad thing is, I asked you before the show, and I still screwed it up. I'm fired.
It's okay. It's my life story, to be honest. Like nobody can pronounce my name.
Hey, you know what? That's like they say too. You know, the title of my book is ridiculous. It's an Onanite Titan, and I'm like, it's not that hard. And you know, this guy here, Steph Wilson, he always gives me a hard time about it. You know, world's hardest title to pronounce. So whatever, we'll let it slide just because it's Steph.
Also, hey, Steph. I mean, I'm notorious at killing most of the English language, so
I think we all are.
I can't pronounce stuff. Can I curse?
Yeah.
So frowned upon. Yeah.
No, it's not frowned upon.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have explained that. This is not. We're not PC here, so you can like let stuff slip and it happens, and we'll just roll on like nothing happened. Don't worry, Chandra. Russell is more of a warm up live stream. Get out of here. That's why Steph's been on here so many times, right? Because he's kind of like a warm up artist. Ooh, burn.
Ooh.
You gotta do them circles, go round and round. So thanks so much for being here tonight. You know, we're going to talk a little bit about the God Machine later on and your whole revisit to that project. But you know, like it's custom usually on my stream, I like to talk about, you know, inspirations and, you know, how we got into, you know, where you got with your project and with getting into art and comics and stuff like that. So first off, do you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
Okay. Probably turn off my tweet deck. Good job, Chan. Winning points already. Hello, I'm Chandra Free. I'm the sole creator of the God Machine. I'm artist, writer, creative thing. I do paintings. I do whatever. I've done, you know, character designs and like storyboards and all sorts of stuff. I've worked with companies like Archaea, Jim Henson, Storm King Productions, Image, blah, blah, blah. It goes on. I love telling dark and spooky stories. And I have a thirst for life. Meow.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
So what age did you get interested in comic books and art and stuff like that? Like, when did it start out for you that you were like, I really want to draw, I want to write stories?
So, as my mom says, and this is my mom, she says I was drawing before I could walk. So, art has always been a part of my life. Like it's part of my fabric. It's part of who I am. I can't divorce myself from it. It's just part of my natural fabric of
You feel
existence.
lost without it.
Yeah, I mean, like I've had to come to terms every so often with the fact that one day my wrist will not be um, able to deal with me working anymore, and so I'm also a aspiring comic book publisher as well. My company is called Machina Corps, and the idea is to publish other people with dark, spooky like stories and whatnot in the future because the hands won't last forever. So the idea is that one day I would love to publish other people and nurture their love for the art and the craft of comic making. So going back to the initial question, so art has always been a part of my life. I originally wanted to be a animator, to be honest, as a very small little child. And when I found out that you had to work your way up to being a keyframer and a character designer through like doing the in-between art, I decided, that's not good enough for me. I don't want to do that. So I decided like, well, I'll make comics. And then at one point, like I didn't know, like me and my cousin Lindsay Sebos, who is also a comicer, would do like comics for fun growing up because that was the easiest way to tell stories. And we're talking like we were probably after we got through our initial like things that we were doing, we were probably about like 7 years old making little mini comics and like going through the whole ring of things. And it's sad but true, but like Garfield and newspaper comics were a big thing when I was a little girl.
There's
That's
nothing better than when the parents got the Sunday paper in and you're like, oh my gosh, is there comics in it? Because there were weeks that it would come and it would be either A, somebody had taken the funny section out of the Sunday paper, or B, it just wasn't in there. Maybe it was printed on the back of the ad insert. You would get like a half or one full page of comics, and it's like, what is this?
Growing up, we always had like I'm originally from Orlando, Florida, so we'd have the Orlando Sentinel, and they like always had a robust Sunday edition of comics. Like the whole entire thing is comics here, comics there, and shit that you didn't see during the regular week. But I don't know, for whatever reason, like I gravitated to Garfield, and of course, Garfield is kind of goofy now. Like you can goof on Garfield to no end, and it's the most hilarious shit you can find. But like for whatever reason, I was inspired by Garfield. I made one of my first characters. This is actually I created another set of characters before him, but my one character that was kind of like based off of Garth was a snake. And I called him Rattle, and he had a million brothers, and like I just like was so interested in creating like tons of characters. I made a shit ton of snakes, and then like it was just a little goof gag kind of thing. So there was a point where things change when you start growing up and whatnot. Like I'm a preteen, getting into like X-Men and Gargoyles, and
Gargoyles were amazing.
Gargoyles is like my jam. Of course, also Batman the Animated Series, very much on the same like time frame here.
So we got to answer this. There's going to be a ton of the fans of the show that love Gargoyle. So who is your favorite Gargoyle? Is it Goliath? Who? They're going to want to know this.
This is difficult because like my favorite character is Lisa Mazza.
Okay.
So, but I mean, like, well, shoot. Well, Demona's great. right? I mean, voiced by Marina Sirtis of Next Generation fame. Like, she's fucking phenomenal. Like,
Yes, everybody read comics but you stuff.
but like, there was a comic that came out during like the height of the show, which was like a Marvel run of Gargoyles, which was penciled by Amanda Connor. And I'm forgetting who else also did some alternate comics in there, and I forget who was writing it. It wasn't Greg Weisman who created Gargoyles, but it was somebody else. And it was a very dark, very adult comic, because at one point Elisa is like dressed as a hooker trying to catch a like guy who's killing the hookers, I guess. Like, it's really weird. Like, I'm reading this Disney comic about hookers. Okay, this is great. I love it. Like, and that really inspired me a lot during that time to write really dark, like, kind of comics, and like really amp up my realism. Even though I'm in middle school, that realism doesn't exactly. It's not there yet, but it definitely darkens my style. It gives it a different taste, because like before I'm doing Disney stuff and like killing hookers as this GTA.
I find that hard to believe. Steph knows about Grand Theft Auto, but he doesn't know about Gargoyles. Come on, Steph. December Lace is gonna like punch you in the face the next time she sees you for that comment. Gargoyles is huge. Gargoyles was a huge part of growing up. It was a cartoon that came out in the 90s, and it was phenomenal. It was the story to it. It was really good. And like she said, a little bit into the show, Marvel did a short series on the story arc of that show, and it wasn't very long, but like she said, it was pretty dark.
Yeah. Oh my god. And the art is so good. I mean, it's Amanda Connor,
really
so
good.
I mean,
Amanda Connor, come with me if you want to live. It's funny, every time somebody says Amanda Connor, it's like all I can think of.
That's funny. Oh my goodness. But I also like Batman the Animated Series is like, is pretty stellar stuff right there.
Batman the Animated Series was awesome.
Yeah. Oh wow. From the moment that like, what was it? What was the first one? The first episode is like with Catwoman, and also Kate Mulgrew from Voyager is the voice of the Black Claw, or whatever that character's name was. I wore this shirt for a reason today. Like,
show off your Star Trek nerdom.
Yeah, right. To represent, and also like my love of retro video games. So I love my Star Trek.
I do too. It's phenomenal. Star Trek's always been one of those things that's been kind of off and on for me. Like, I would skip a few seasons and I get back into it, and then I want to go back and watch a couple seasons. And I was really iffy about the new movies. I was like, man, I don't know what to think about these, because every time they would show the preview or like, hey, this is coming out soon, you would just see the ship, and each time it would be a little more built than the last time you've seen it.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, tell us a little bit about the story. What is this movie going to be about? So it's like you went into it knowing really nothing much of what the whole storyline was going to be about. And I think they did a great job with it. I really did enjoy the newer movies.
I enjoy 2 out of the 3 of them.
Let me guess, the first 2, but the third one you didn't like.
I like the third one. I did like the third one. I like the first one. I didn't like the con bullshit, whatever the fuck they were trying to accomplish there, because it's like the original con movie. It's just the AV Club. That's funny.
Yeah, the Wrath of Khan.
The Wrath of Khan is like a perfect movie. Why?
It is great.
Like, why mess with that? Leave it be. Leave it be. Why did you get Cumberbatch to come and be Khan. That makes no sense, but okay, whatever. Go off, I guess. But Star Trek. Oh, I love Star Trek. Oh. Favorite series is The Next Generation.
The Next Generation is awesome. Everybody always talks about Deep Space Nine. I never really got into Deep Space Nine or Voyager. I did watch them. They had pretty good episodes. The Next Generation was so awesome, and
That's
Q and all this and how when they did the movies on The Next Generation, like Generations, how they brought Kirk in, where Picard and Kirk ran into each other and they helped each other escape, and just the whole series and that era of Star Trek was just great. How they filled in all these story loops and everything always ended up coming back together, and it was insane.
You mentioned Q. I love fucking Q.
Oh, he's awesome. Absolutely.
I've met John Delancey a couple of times.
Have you?
I have. And okay, the little 13-year-old in me each time was just screaming in my head, and I was like, hi, I enjoyed you on the show. And I'm like inside like, oh my God, it's John Delancey.
It's like drool's just like pouring out of your mouth and you don't even notice it. You're like, hi.
I mean, I even gave him a copy of my book. I'm like,
oh, did you?
Yeah. And like, it was really sweet this one time. I was at MegaCon. I was in my booth, and I hear like, in about an hour, John Delancey will no longer be on the floor. I'm like, like an hour. And so like, I had my then husband at the time. He manned the table, and I was like, ran right over there, and like, it's like, how much are you charging for autographs or something? And it's like, okay. And I'm like, I gave him my book, and it's like, oh, and I was like looking at the various things I could buy. And then like, he just like signed it, like one of them, and just gave it to me. He's like, don't worry about it. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And then one time, this is really interesting. There was rumors that he was there at the Trader Vic's at DragonCon, and we were just like, they sat us down, and I'm like, oh, where could he be? And like, I look to my right, and there he is having like multiple martinis with, I guess, maybe his press person or whoever it was, but they were having martinis. So I'm like just sitting there like, oh God, he's right there. Do not ruin his meal, even if it's just martinis. I did, when we got up, I did like, I was like, we've met before, but I don't expect you to know me, but I just thought I'd say hello, and I gave him a handshake, and that was it. And my little experiences like that are just so fun.
So I do have to ask though. So it was really cool that you got to meet him, and you gave him a copy of your book. Did he ever like say anything about what he thought about your book, or like email you later on?
Oh, he probably gets so much shit thrown at him. He's probably like, "Oh, who's this silly girl and her thing?" I'm like, "Thanks, throw away." But I just had to, because why not? I expect nothing. It's just that little tiny fan interaction.
Well, and you have the hopes that maybe he did read it and enjoy it, and it's just like, maybe you'll get a chance to hear what he thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the dream, but I never expect anything.
No, you don't.
Speaking of like interacting with like Star Trek people, I got to meet the late great Rene Auberjonois, or however you say his name, Odo from DS9. And I got to like touch his shoulder and shake his hand and tell him like how much like his performance meant to me. And he was so like, oh, thank you so much. And he was just so sweet. And it's like, I'm glad I had that moment, because he's no longer with us, which, always a bummer.
It's unfortunate. Yeah.
All right, we went down the Star Trek lane.
Hey, that's how the show runs. We have no rails. We just derail on whatever. And I mean, and it's good. It's really great to sit here and, see this helps people see, you know, what kind of inspirations and what kind of stories you're into. You know, you love gargoyles. You know, you love Star Trek. Some of the people who were in the Star Trek series did voicing for gargoyles. You know, that
It's
sort
like the
of
whole
thing.
fucking cast is on like all of the Star Trek alumni are like on the fucking like gargoyles.
Yeah, and the voice. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, it's funny.
Yeah. And
Sorry
then we
to
got
take us.
Steph over here. You know, you got Steph over here. You know, Lewis says, please excuse Steph Wilson. He was before Gargoyles time. Put him on HR Puff and stuff, and it's like someone put the come hither on him. And then he said, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters.
A little bit before my time.
Seriously, what is a gargoyle? All right, we're gonna have to bring this up, Steph. As I know you're pulling our leg, but we're gonna show you what a gargoyle is. What did I just hit? I hit something bad. Uh-oh. Not fired. Gargoyles. Okay, whatever. It's doing whatever it wants to do. So I accidentally pasted Spooky Chan in here because I had it in copy and paste. I must have bumped the button. It happens. Whatever. Steph, go look up Gargoyle, the animated show.
Yeah,
we'll probably get
Disney's
kicked
Gargoyle.
just for even showing it anyway. We'll be like, we'll show a picture and it'll be like, you have done something wrong.
Flagged content.
Flagged. We're sorry, but we've removed your show. You showed a picture of somebody else's stuff. Game over.
Disney.
Oh man. So you were always attracted to art. You knew how to draw before you could walk. So you worked up kind of into this thing where you started wanting to do like publishing for other people that had stories that they wanted to get out there.
Right. I mean, like that's the now story. That's the eventual story where we'll get to that like point in the game. I mean, like it's because I do want to do that. I want to like also like bump up like marginalized voices and other things that we don't get to see too often, and just like cultivate a bunch of weirdos too. Like I just want to celebrate weirdos. Oh my goodness. How inappropriate.
These guys. I know, I'm telling you, right? How inappropriate. Close out of the porno browser. Get out of here. You know, just because you use that for reference for your cover stuff, I mean, come on, not all of us have that.
Oh, shit.
It's on now, son. Hold on, stuff will have a comeback in like 20 minutes. It's the MS-DOS. Yeah, see, it's sad you're even old enough to remember that stuff. I mean, hell, you're still using a DVD player to, do your shows. So what are we going to do with you? Get out of here, Samson. What are we going to do with him? So other than Gargoyles and Batman, what were some of your inspirations growing up? Like, what were some of the other characters and shows and or comics that you were drawn to?
So definitely, like, I was a Disney kid when I was growing up. I mean, lived in Orlando. I mean, you kind of have to be. But I mean, like, I would like it goes back to that whole like fascination with animation and like wanting to be an animator. And like really getting into that kind of thing, like Animaniacs and Tiny Toons and stuff like and Freakazoid. Freakazoid was
awesome. I hardly ever meet anybody that remembers who Freakazoid is, so that's so awesome that you mentioned that because I was talking about that a while back. Freakazoid, chimpanzee, Freakazoid.
Freaking me.
Yeah. I'm telling you, like I mentioned that, and people are like, "What the hell is a Freakazoid?" I'm like, "It was a show. The dude was blue. He had a huge F on his shirt. Like, how do you not know who Freakazoid is?" They're like, "Dude, we have no idea what you're talking about." I was like, it seems like nobody on Earth has ever known what Freakazoid was, and like you just say that, and it just cracks me up.
Me and my cousin love that stuff. So like, someone just mentioned Disney's Robin Hood, and that was one of Don Bluth's. I'm not sure if it was his first animated movie that he worked on, but he worked for Disney for a little bit before he went on to like do his own studio. I know pointless information about like animation and other things like that. So.
Oh no, Joshua was among his people. You're the oddball out here, Steph. Freaking Nerdfest. Josh heard Nerdfest. He heard the call, and here he is. Hello, everybody. The Nerd Factory on Code Red. Red alert. Shields up.
So there was so much there, and I mean, like, I did have my stint with like X-Men for a short period of time. I don't know what the hell is going on. I just jumped in and like, I love Psylocke. She's pretty. It's
you
like
just jumped
that
in with
kind
both
of
feet, and you're like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but we're just gonna ride this train out as long as it's enjoyable.
Right, and it was just like it was about pouring over the art. There's this artist whose style was kind of anime inspired. Like, I don't remember his name, but it's kind of weird for like the early mid 90s to like already bring in like an anime manga style to like, the X-Men and whatnot. And it was super cool. And I was just like so obsessed with just this little fraction of time. I couldn't tell you what was actually going on. It was like some alternate future whatever thing going on. It's like,
yeah, I was the same way. When I jumped in with X-Men, it was really funny. One of our teachers in like third grade gave out conduct cash. Like if you were good, you turned in your homework and your book reports on time, and you'd save up your conduct cash. And like every month or two, she would let you choose something out of this plastic Rubbermaid tote. They had like the goofy little metal puzzle toys that you'd have to pull apart. And like that was when I first like really got into other comic books besides some of the stuff that I would pick up. My parents would pick up at the dollar store. They had X-Men, the Uncanny X-Men in there, and I was like, "Ooh, what's this?" And I pulled it out, and it was like way into the series, but I still loved the hell out of it. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, like the art is so cool, and like I don't know, just X-Men was definitely like one of those like big twos that I like kind of gravitated to. And then like, oh my goodness, Steph, you're on a roll, aren't you?
Oh yeah, now he's just pulling our leg. Now we're just gonna have to tell him, get out. Get out. I need to put that I need to upload that meme into the brand category so I can just hit it and get out.
It's so weird. So like in the 90s during the oh no, what happened?
You're still here?
I'm still here. Oh, my cat just like pressed something on my keyboard and brought up another tab. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
What the fuck?
I'm telling you, he's a good cat, but he's a pain in the ass.
He's like, all right, you've taken time out of your night. You've talked about what you love. Now it's time to talk about me. You will talk about me. What about
Absinthe?
What about Absinthe? So now you got Steph's attention. Cat, we love Cat. So let's talk about Absinthe for a minute. We got to appease the cat lovers out there.
He's got his own Instagram. It's Absinthe Le Chat Noir. I speak very little French, but I thought it would be a cute little thing to do. But he speaks in English on his Instagram. He's an adorable, wonderful black panther. He's the light of my life, and he is way off the screen. Like he is on the other side of the room now.
Oh, he's like, I'm gonna open a new tab. You're gonna talk about me, and I'm gonna leave. That sounds just about. You do it, human. Right. You do it, human. You talk all about me. I'm done. I've said what I've had to say, and I'm leaving.
I said, good day, sir.
Good day, sir.
Anyway, so we talked about the cat.
And Steph said, so French, so French.
So French. So Francais.
So to kind of go back on a little bit of what you were talking about earlier, you really wanted to get into animation. Did you do any animation at all?
No,
No.
I looked at it and I'm like, not for me. It was just that labor of doing the same image just a little bit differently every single
Each
time that I
time,
just
yeah,
couldn't get
doing those
into.
cell layers,
Like I said,
yeah.
I wanted to be a keyframer, which is where you set the standard of where the animation is going to go. And yeah, and it's just like I wanted to design characters and I wanted to tell my own stories, and I knew it was going to take a long time to get there if I did it via animation. And this is coming from like a kid in fifth grade, like already figuring out what the hell she wants to do with her life. Like I'm not going to do animation because that's not exactly where it's at. But I want to tell my stories. I want to create my characters. This is what I know. And speaking of like also influence type stuff, like anime would come into my world about fifth grade. Like during that time period where like watch Project Echo, Vampire Hunter D, the original 80s movie, Robot Carnival, like all sorts of like kind of cultish, like Japanimation. Woo, it's wild, it's crazy. Oh my god, it drove me up the wall every time. It's like Japanimation. Like, I mean, like Sci-Fi Channel had their Japanimation Sundays or whatever it was, or Saturdays. I can't remember. I'm old.
Actually, like the only one that I really recognized out of that was Vampire Hunter D, and that was phenomenal. That was a really good one. And
Did you see the
later on,
original?
yeah,
You saw the 80s one?
yeah.
Because two of them. Okay. All right. Just checking.
Yeah, no, I've seen both. I've seen the old and the new one. But some of the newer stuff, that I started getting back into anime, like I got out of watching anime for a little while. I dabbled a little here and a little there, but nobody else in high school was really into anime. So I was like on my own, like trying to talk about it. Everybody was into video games, and I was into video games, so I was like, I was more hardcore into that. But
yeah.
I guess it was like right around before I went to. I was like, no, it was right after I graduated. I got into Full Metal Alchemist. And then that kind of spurred me back into the whole anime thing again, where I started watching that. And Van Helsing, that was another one of the, why are all these messages coming through? All right, sorry about that. Like a whole bunch of messages just dumped on me. So, yeah, so that was one of my favorite animes too, was watching Van Helsing, even though it was like super gory. Like
Yeah.
it was...
I missed out on that one. Because I jumped out of anime after 1999.
Oh, did you?
I was like too cool for it.
Yes.
Because other people were like getting into it at the time, but it's like
even though it's Ghost in the Shell, but Ghost in the Machine.
Ghost in the Machine. I mean, like it could be a new title from me.
Yeah, it could be.
I'll take that. I'm stealing that.
Ghost in the Machine.
I really like in the mid '90s. I dug Evangelion, and way before that was Tenchi and Rama 1.5, and then like Utena was another one that I really liked, and then in 1999, 2000 time period was Lane, experimental. God, why am I blanking on this one? It's Lane. That's all you need to know. It's Lane. It's great.
Yeah. There was a lot of lame stuff that came out in the early 2000s and the '99.
Yeah.
Great.
Serial Experiments Lane. There we go. I'm like I said, I'm old, so the brain doesn't work as well as it used to.
Yeah, you got to wait for it to boot up and find that file somewhere deep in there. It's like, oh, right. I remember what it is.
Though I have to say, the brain didn't work that well beforehand, so it's just going to get worse as older I get.
No, I totally get that.
So during like high school days, I was like making my own manga because I thought, I'll do manga, it'll be great. I'll do like magical girl, blah blah blah. And then at some point, I just like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't what I want to do. And like, I would discover in my senior year of high school, my friend like gave me a book called "I Feel Sick: A Story About a Girl" by Donan Vasquez. And it was the most. Oh, bye, Steph. Have a good night. Enjoy the gargoyle quest.
Yeah, enjoy the gargoyles. You'll be thanking us later.
But what was I saying? Words.
You were talking about how you were going to get into manga.
I discovered "I Feel Sick: A Story About a Girl" by Donan Vasquez. It wasn't for me, and this is like 1999, and like I'm just like I'm not interested in the big two. I'm not interested in doing manga. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. I am just like, I'm frustrated with where I want my style to be and what I want to do. And then I discover the world of indie comics. And I'm greatly like, this is wow. Like, I can do whatever the heck I want to do. I don't have to do like superheroes. I don't have to do like anime. I can just like come up with something so anything, you know, the combination of everything that I've ever been in my life, I can just put that all together and make it into whatever the hell I want to make it. So that's where actually the God Machine was born in 1999, late 1999, 2000. This is not a new thing. This is this is my baby. Yeah, I mean, like, so it was originally published in 2010 by Archaea. It was a beautiful hardbound book. But I mean, like, I've been working on this for a long time, and I've grown. It's grown. I want to reprint the book through my company. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But I mean, like, God Machine. Fine. Oh my God, I love this. This is I have lived with these characters in my head for about 20 years now. And I have about 13 books planned for it. So it came out 2010. I had a lot of problems with like publishers and stuff like that, and it was kind of a difficult little time. But the book sold itself. It sold out of its original print run, which helped me get out of a contract. Because like one of the things about your contracts is if you sell out of the book and they don't put it through another reprint, you get it back. So it's always been mine. It's so close to me. It's so near and dear to my heart. It's a tragic little story, but I think it's a beautiful story, and also it's funny. It's hilarious, I think. It's I don't know. Well, so much to say about the God Machine, and that's a Kickstarter going on right now.
Yeah, this is on Kickstarter going on right now, and I know later on down here there's some of the old original pages. I know it's down here somewhere. We'll go back to some of the other stuff and talk about it a little bit. But you not only are you offering a ton of stuff.
Yeah, there's some original pages in there, but yeah, I'm offering up like original artwork from it, even stuff that I did, like what you have on the screen right now. Like that's old school Chan. This is me right out of high school trying to figure out how to make a comic book and not knowing what the hell I'm doing. I'm offering really that cool. Up. It almost, yeah.
And it's really cool. I just want to say it's really
just,
cool. Not a lot of people would still have this stuff this many years later. Are you still there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty surprised it's still with me. To be honest. Like, I've done so many moves. I've had so many different life changes that I'm like, I am surprised I have this. I I could have thrown it out. Is God Machine a manga? I wouldn't really. I don't think so, but it has manga influence. It's a full colored, like pages, fully colored, fully like digital painting. Um, let's see. Let's see. When it comes to things for the first time, does anybody know what the hell they're doing? That's true. Usually not.
No, not at all.
I mean, like, it takes a lot of practice to get anywhere and be good at what you do. Just, sometimes, like, even if you're really good, you can still, like, get better. Like, I think the moment somebody stops learning and stops growing, they're not interesting anymore.
Well, they're not interested anymore, and they're fooling themselves. You can never be the best at what you do. You should always be growing, learning to do
absolutely.
new things, and pushing yourself to the limits.
And if you think you're amazing, you're probably not.
Exactly.
I don't think I'm amazing. But I mean, like, I think there's always an element of learning and growing and being like, I'm good at what I do. If I wasn't, I wouldn't try to pawn this off on people. But I'm still growing, I'm still learning, and part of like this reprint, this revision of the series, I rewrote the entire text because, well, first of all, I decided to bring on a letterer, Taylor Esposito, to re-letter the entire book because originally I did it myself. And I thought, it's not bad lettering, but I figured, like, why not just give an element of polish and something like really more professional, more grounded in somebody's actual talent. I'm not talented. I'm not talented in lettering. I'm serviceable, but that's not where my talents lie. And Taylor's great, and I thought, well, I should give him a script. And it's been a million years since I wrote that first script, and it has been a million computers since that last script. Who knows what computer it died on? But, so it's like, okay, so I was like, all right, I'll transcribe my book. That's doable. It's daunting, but doable. And then I'm like, you know what? I can make this a better book. I'm a much different person than I was in my 20s. I'm now in my late 30s.
I feel the sentiment. My birthday is coming up Wednesday, so it seems like the years go by really fast the older you get.
Yeah.
It's like, a few years ago, and then you should go back and think about it, and it's like, 10 years ago.
That's right.
It gets bad. It gets really bad. It's hard.
By the way, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
I feel like my birthday just happened. It was in December, but we're on March now.
I know. That's what I told my wife. I was like, we were so happy for 2020 to be over with. And like now it's like, it's April already. And like, where did like the first 3 months of this year go?
What the heck?
What happened?
2020 lasted for like a million years. And now it's like, well, January was a slog. And then like, what happened in February? What's happening now? Like, what? What is time? So, anyways, going back. I'm
sneaking up on it. Like a ninja.
So when I decided to revise the text is when I realized I could make stronger characterizations, remove some problematic language from the 2000s. Because, everything was about like shock humor and all that. I'm like, I don't need like that's not the purpose of my book. Is not shock humor. I mean, like there's
Yeah.
definitely like some elements to it, but I mean, like it's not. That's not my.
So you
That's
wanted
not
to
where.
modernize it, and you wanted to actually make it what you wanted it to be instead of what's appeased to people back then. Because of course, then you kind of wanted to get people interested in the book, and so you included stuff that would appease to people. But now you're like, all right, I kind of did this thing, but I'm not happy with it. Let's go back and revisit it. Let's make it the way I
Yeah,
originally intended it to be. Let's make it better. So was the
but
original was it black and white, or was it full color as well?
full color.
It was full
Um,
color. Okay.
yeah, it's when I was pitching to Archaea, I originally pitched it as a black and white, and he's like, "Can you do it in color?" I'm like, "Sure." And I was so
Sure.
nervous and scared about that because like color takes a long time, and but it makes for a better book. It's one thing that. Okay, I'm going to talk about myself in a positive manner, and this is not a bad thing. um, you get a little weird about like praising yourself, but it's like my colors are really good. Like I think it brings the book to life, and it's like just so it's gorgeous. Like people often tell me like my scene transitions are really good, and the colorization is really good, and just like it's vibrant and like just out there. And it's not like the typical kind of coloring. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Like, but I come from a more painterly background because I went to school for fine art. I didn't go for comics. I wanted to, but that's a whole nother story. It's
No,
tragic.
it's fine. Tell it.
No, that's a story.
There's Absinthe.
Hey, Absinthe. Hey, honey. Oh, there's a little bit of a head. Wait. If I scoot him over this way. Wait. Where? Oh, never mind. He's just like
He's
licking
like,
his lips.
I made an appearance. Bye.
Wait. Oh, he's going to hate this. Oh, my goodness. Here we go.
Hi, Absinthe.
Hi, honey. You say hi? He hates this. He loves pets. He loves cuddles, but he hates being picked up.
Colors are very hard, especially when you only have a Crayola 8-pack. Yes, that is very hard, Jack. But no, I have to say, I love the colors and some of the prints and and the paintings that you have as examples listed up there. If you guys, that haven't checked out the Kickstarter, you can get custom paintings on there. There's all kinds of cool stuff. You can get, I forgot what the sizes were. You get a medium and a large on there, and the art is just beautiful. And I love the painterly style. I mean, when I did my book, I had, well, there we go. I'm going to break something again.
No,
I had even that did a piece for me that was painterly, and it just painterly style is just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, you had that right there. So I'm a huge fan of the painterly stuff. And like I said, there's some of the stuff that you have listed as examples on here, you can get these custom paintings is, I love it too. It says cat not included. You got to have things down in the corner.
Yeah. Because I was taking pictures of paintings one day and he was just like standing there and like, okay. It's a shame, like the paintings are so expensive, but they're like big paintings, and but it's like if people really want a painting, they'll get a painting. But I mean, there's also other options of getting original pages that are not colored, but they're black and white. But you get a piece of history of sorts, of my history.
Well, yeah, and you can absolutely, somebody can get something that's a one-of-a-kind piece, not something that's like mass-produced, something that, hey, I really would love you to do this character and, do it in your frame of mind and in your style, and they're going to get that. And it's going to be a one-of-a-kind piece, and it's going to have that heart and soul of Chan, the Spooky Chan.
The Spooky Chan.
Spooky Chan.
That's me.
So let's backpedal a little bit. So, you have these characters in your mind of the God Machine, and this is kind of like your revision and going back and taking some of that shock humor out of it and making it your own. But how did you come up with the idea? Like, what inspired you and inspired the creation of these characters? Like, was there something in particular that are you just one day were like, I've got this crazy story I just thought of?
So this particular thing was me just drawing and drawing and drawing. There's a whole there's a sketchbook dissections that we have on our YouTube at Machina Corpse that you can find that goes into my tale of how I discovered the God Machine, like the actual like sketch of that. Took me so long. I was like trying to figure out a style and da 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 da, and I finally like drew this little guy with like these black glasses or just brown glasses, little tiny eyebrows and triangle hair, and I'm like, that's him. That's my character. That's my new series. And I just had to keep drawing him and drawing him, and then like a story started to form, other characters started to come, like some ideas, and then like at some point it's like, well, now all right, I've got these high school kids, what did they do, what is the whole like thing, like he's got a girlfriend, but you know, why this, what? And then I decided make her dead, but make her actually still alive, floating in and out of what is known as the dream worlds, and that, you know, like it's going to be a quest kind of thing, and like just building this whole entire story. And like the story grew as I grew. So like from high school to college years, I was like writing and figuring out things and like really
What was
coming
that
up.
YouTube again? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Oh, it's okay. Machina Corpse. Machina, and corpse like a body.
Oh, got it. All right, cool. Sorry, I'm gonna pop that into the link. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. And that's one of the things is sketchbook dissections. We have a couple of different like video series up there, but you'll find it in there. It's me and my partner, my boyfriend, my partner. Stephen Emond also has his stuff there too. But there's also the Kickstarter video, which is up on our YouTube as well, which has the voices of James Urbaniak from Venture Brothers and Dana Swanson from Toonami. She's the voice of Sarah on that. So that's a great little video. Steve actually animated my my drawings and stuff like that, and it's we're so happy that James and Dana did the voices for Angel and Devil Kitty. So it's please check that out. Hopefully it's entertaining. We think it's entertaining. So what were we saying before? Sorry.
No.
Oh, the creation. He's back, by the way, if you didn't see the tail. The creation just like came to be over so many different years, and just like really figuring out things. Oh, did you pause? You're frozen.
No.
Am I frozen?
You're frozen. If you want to back out
Oh
and come back in.
no, I'm.
Yeah, you're frozen. If you want to back out and come back in, you're more than welcome to. So I think earlier, when Absinthe clicked to another tab, it lagged you out, and it's slowly been spiraling out of control. So if you want to come out and come back in, I'll throw you back in here.
Yeah, give me a second. The
no
cat
problem.
is in my way.
Absinthe. Yeah, see, cats will be your undoing.
Yeah, well, I mean, correct. Come on, move. Right,
I'm not frozen, Jack, but she is. She is on both screens on here.
Can I? All right, let's do this.
Yeah, you can exit out and you can use the same link. She will be back momentarily. Gotta love those hiccups. It's all Steph's fault. See, I think what happened was the Steph left, and then now he's trying to lag her out. That's what it is. And she's back. Here we go. Doop-a-doo. There we are. We're good. Yeah, so what happens is earlier when he clicked on that tab, I noticed you lagged out a bit, and so slowly it's been like getting worse and worse and worse. And I was like, eventually it's going to happen, but hey, we're back.
All right. Blame the cat.
Blame the cat. It's all, damn you, Absinthe. How dare you? No wet food for you for 1 week. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no, he's got to have his wet food. He's on a very special diet.
Yep, that's right, Lewis. Steph Wilson strikes again. Shame. Bring her shame. So what were you saying about the creation aspect? So the creation aspect of, how you came up with the God Machine.
So I knew I needed a hook. That was the girlfriend being dead. And then, like, there's gods and things like that, and monsters and all sorts of, like, whatever I really was jiving on during that time, I just kind of, like, put it all together. And then, like, as a 20-something-year-old, refined it more, and as a 30-something-year-old, refined it even more in my head, and, like, just, like, tinkering and making the story, like, a stronger one, and, like, the overarching themes, and the cat is back. Sorry.
He's like, dang it, I didn't screw it up enough the first time. I'm coming back. Fatality. Finish him. I can see it now. It's like Street Fighter. It's like Street Fighter when what is it with Blanca in the car? The cat. It's like the cat and the keyboard, only instead of the cat and the keyboard, it's the cat and your computer, and he's just demolishing it. Test your might. Oh man, that's too much. Yes, I'm showing my age. The old 2D scrolling fighters that you would beat up a car to show your might.
I have I collected a lot of the Street Fighters as they were coming out during the 90s, and I have the Street Fighter collection for the Switch, which has like 1, which nobody gives a shit about, all the versions of 2, the Alpha series, and then 3. And all that iteration of that. And I'm like, that's my heart and soul right there. I mean, like, I love me some Street Fighter.
I do too. And they'd had a special edition for like the PlayStation 3 that actually came with the in your lap arcade joystick and button set. And it was really cool. So cool. It flips up and it's got all the wiring. You can rewire the buttons and make it whatever button do whatever you want to do. It's completely programmable without having to have it hooked up to the system. And so what's great is it's not like specifically meant for the PS3. It's USB. So you can upload drivers to like the computer or anything you want to use it. And it's freaking awesome. Like I've never been able to bring myself to actually use it. Because like I get it out and I'm like, it's so pretty. It's phenomenal. It's really awesome looking.
Pristine. Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. One day this will be worth nothing probably, but I'm not going to use it. There's probably like 100 million of them out there. Be like, you know that's worthless. You can use it right. But I can't. It's so pretty. It's a piece of art. It is truly beautiful. They were like handmade, and so it wasn't like mass produced and like they were completely handmade. It's like an arcade cabinet minus the screen and the stand. It's that beautiful. Sounds awesome. And then, of course, I knew Lewis would get in on this. Lewis, he's a big time collector on like old arcade games and not just like fighting games and stuff like that. Like those luck machines and stuff like that. Anything that's like an arcade style machine, he's in on.
Oh, that's cool.
But he said I have Street Fighter 2, the World Warrior arcade machine. Pics on my Facebook, not the little thing you guys at Walmart.
That's cool.
I've always wanted to buy one of those things from Walmart. That one arcade, whatever the heck they're called, but they're like $400.
Oh God! I think one of the YouTubers that I follow has a bunch of them. Like what's his name? RG85, RGT85 or something like that. I don't know. He's so unprofessional, but I kind of love it. He doesn't edit his videos. He just he fucks up and he just pauses for a second and then starts again. He just leaves his fuck ups in the videos. And it's like even he'll burp sometimes. Like, is this endearing or is this kind of bad? I don't know. I kind of like this. Stupid.
So
But
yeah, I
he's
mean those arcade cabinets are really cool, but they're like $400, and some of them come with one game, some of them come with three or four. But it's like
right.
it's not the same as like when we were kids. Like
Yeah.
kids these days don't have it like we did. I used to remember rolling up in Walmart. My parents were like going to go buy stuff, and I'm like, "Hey, can I have 5 quarters?" And like I could totally entertain myself for like the next hour and 15 minutes. They were grocery shopping, playing
Yeah.
Terminator 2, Rise of the Machines pinball, or
That's awesome.
playing Area 51 with the light gun shooting in,
Yeah.
aliens and stuff. And it's like now you go into Walmart and in these stores, and it's like all you have are like the claw game, and
Right. See, I
it's
used
like,
to actually go to arcades.
yeah.
I don't know, like that like with skee ball and all the pinball
Oh
machines,
yeah.
and all of that stuff, and then you get like tickets for like garbage that you don't really care about.
Yeah, all the sugary stuff, or you'd have the little domes that you flip inside out and you set down, they shoot up in the air.
Sounds
Or
about right.
like the little tiny decks of cards, the goofy
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
But
the novelty ones. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, we used to do the arcades all the time. I can't think of the name of the one because Crestwood Mall had Tilt in it. And that
That's
was
cool.
one of the big arcades that, like, every time we went to the mall, I was like, I want to go there. I want to go there. And, like, finally one time we
Nice.
did. It was like heaven. Like, they had World Rampage, and they had Mortal
Oh
Kombat and Street Fighter, and
yeah.
pinball machines galore. The skee ball machines, those are always the best and the most fun
Oh,
to play.
I freaking like. I don't like the small, like rinky dink skee ball machines. I
Yeah,
like
the
the ones
big time
that are
ones.
very long. Yeah, like
Yeah, they're
get some
huge.
talent in there. Yeah.
Yeah, now you go there and it's called Ice Ball or Ice something. But we've got an arcade here in Fenton, Swing Around Fun Town, that they have some of those machines. And it's not like it used to be. It used to be so much fun when you had to stand there for 20 minutes waiting for all the tickets to come out because you like maxed out
You
some
did the
super
thing,
high
yeah.
score. Now it's like, please swipe your card. And you swipe your card, and it's like, we added 122 tickets to your card. It's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
So,
I lived in New York City for like 10 years, and there's like a revival of arcades of sorts, but they're called barcades.
oh, okay.
And like it's pretty much get your drink and go to your old school like 90s like cabinets or like 80s stuff, like depending on which arcade you go to, like they're themed by decades and stuff like that, and it's the coolest shit. Like drinking and playing video games like with tokens, like sure, why not? Like
Oh, yeah. I don't even remember what it's like to use a token machine anymore because it's like Dave and Buster's, back in the day. I mean, I want to
see, I
say in
never
like
went to Dave and Buster's.
well, we started going like in '03 and '04 when my wife and I first met. And it was, you still had the old style token machines, and they had some of the stuff like, World Rampage, and, they had the old style skee ball, and they had like the really cool Area 51 light guns. And they didn't have like some of this newer stuff where you got these like force action assault rifles where you shooting and it's actually like you're like and it's like, what the hell, the thing's throwing you all over the place. They're not as cool as they used to be, but I mean there are some pretty cool stuff. They got those ones that are like virtual reality. You get in, you sit down, you close the curtain next to you. Roderick and I have played a few of those, and they're insane. But
That's
I
cool.
don't. I miss that. I miss that. Going in there and the smell of the arcade. You had the mixture of a lot of sugar and every once in a while vomit from the kid that ate too much sugar and was running around the place.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I
So
miss.
Jackson.
Let's see. There's quite a. Okay. So barcades must. I mean, like it could be very well be a nice little franchise. But barcades are so much fun. Because it's nostalgia plus being an adult.
Come on.
Yeah. What were we talking about before we got onto that?
I don't remember. Do you? No, we
You
were talking about.
paused. Am I paused?
No, I'm not paused. I was
You're
loading the link
frozen.
back up. Am I frozen? You're not frozen on mine.
Yeah, you are. Am I?
No,
Oh,
you're
okay.
not.
So
I don't know what's going on.
I like. Do you see the cat in the back of me here?
Uh huh.
Right.
Yep. Can you still hear me all right?
Anyways, cats.
Yeah, anyways, cats. What are you going to do with it? So,
if you can't tell, like, I'm also a big, like, retro gamer. Like, I love the old school machines, like, old consoles. Like, I don't go back way, way back, but I mean, like, the first console that I ever played was the Atari 2600.
2600,
which
yep.
my cousin owned. And then, like, my first system, I was like 5 years old. I got the NES, and it was all over after that point. It's like, woof, everything, video games, everything, every weekend.
So
Video
I guess
games
you
and
were like,
comics.
you were early 80s kid.
Yeah.
Because I was born in 85, so I think my first system. Yeah, because I was born in 85, and so, that was one of my first systems I played at my grandparents was the Atari 2600. And then the first systems my parents got was, like the regular Nintendo, and, you had Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers, and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers was one of my favorite games, and Tailspin.
Capcom. Yeah, the Capcom games are really, like, freaking vicious and good.
Stephanie says I don't want to brag, but I had the original Pong game when it actually came out.
That's awesome. There is no shame in that. That's really cool. I still think nickel variety and doesn't cost as much as you just can't drink. Oh, okay.
I don't know what nickel is. I never heard of it. You'll have to explain to me what that is, Jack. I've never heard of nickel.
I assume it's probably another one of these, like, old school, like, retro. I love my elders.
I do too. We're not making fun of you. We're just laughing because, like, we're reminiscing on the Pong days, where you had to wait for it to load up and you had to flip all these switches, to actually get it to transmit properly to the TV.
That's right. All that stuff.
I hope that Pong game is still sealed. That's the sad thing. When we were growing up, like, all these systems, our parents were like, you don't play that anymore. Throw it in the trash. And it's like, now
my mom would never, ever do that to me because she knew how much those were important to me. She would, I sold my Nintendo at a garage sale to this German guy. I don't know why I remember this so well, but the thing is, the Nintendo didn't really work all that well anymore. So I was being a bad kid. I wish I'd kept it and just had it restored or something like that, but I was trying to make some cash and whatnot. But I remember selling my Super NES, my Genesis, my Sega CD, my 32X, all so I could get a Sega Saturn.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Sega was awesome. Sega was so great because, they had the Game Gear when the freaking Game Boy was out. The Game Boy had this little bitty LCD screen.
Yeah,
and you had the Game Gear that had this full color, screen that was 3 times the size of a Game Boy screen. And here they are, all these years later, and I'm waiting for their comeback. So they've been doing a lot of games for a lot of other systems, and it's coming. There is going to be a point where they're going to release a system that's going to put.
I've heard some rumor about them about ready to do some system. I don't know if it's going to be.
There's a rumor, and there was a rumor up until COVID happened, and they've kind of blanketed it for a little while. But I guarantee you, like the PS5 and the Xbox, whatever the heck it's called. Yeah, I don't care about Xbox. Sorry, all you Xbox fans out there. I don't care. it's gonna be awesome. Sega's just gonna be like, check this out, and we're all just
I
gonna
am.
be blown away.
I mean, like, I love my Nintendo Switch because it caters to a lot of my like old school like.
Yeah, your retro playbacks. You know, like they
Yeah.
have the Link's Awakening on there. You know,
Mhm.
the
They
I
have
seen that.
they have all the like really cool little titles and indie things, and I don't know, like I love the Nintendo brand. And
They were
yeah,
always ahead of their time.
I agree. Sega was ahead of their time. They just had some bad marketing in the States.
Well,
That's
they
a
had
problem.
bad marketing, and here's the problem: people could go and buy a regular Nintendo or the Super Nintendo for a fraction of what Genesis cost, and so they started producing systems that were way more expensive. Like when the Super Nintendo came out, the Genesis was far more expensive to produce than
Yeah,
the Super Nintendo was. But Sega had the marketing tactic of, if we make the system the same price, we can make the money back with our games. And that was
yeah.
never really the best tactic, because they lost all the money on the systems. They barely made it back on the games, and they were constantly striving to do better, and they did. Like Sega CD, I don't know many other people that say that they had a Sega CD or a 32X, because I got one right here in the closet. I have all of my old systems. I got the
Uh,
regular Nintendo Super. I got the Genesis 32-bit upgrade that clicks into it. I got the Sega CD.
mhm. Yeah, I've rebought a lot of these things. What is about nickel? It's an arcade place that everything costs a nickel. Oh, 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 and random stuff from Japan. That's my groove. I love that.
Man,
That's
I want
good.
to drive out to California just to check out Nickel Nickel. 20 cents for an arcade game? That's unheard of, even in our
That's
time.
in this economy.
In this economy. After
um,
Pong, we got Odyssey, which was Pong with screens that had to be taped to the TV screen.
yeah, that's rough. That's so rough. But yeah, I had 32X and a Sega CD. I had Lunar 1 and 2 and Pop Full Mail and Vey, and I'm trying to remember what else. Oh, Star Wars Chess or something like that for like the Sega CD. I don't know. It was weird. But I love my Lunar games. They're really cool RPGs.
That ain't too bad. You pay $5 to $10 to get in the door. That still isn't bad.
Oh, that's not bad. That's price of that's great. So
That's
good.
right. And he said some of the games are free, so hopefully the free games make up for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're paying 20, nickel or 20 cents at max, like, you're fine. You're like $10.
Yeah, you dump a
virtually,
dollar in a nickel machine, you're gonna be sitting there playing it for 2 or 3 hours.
yeah, it's not a big deal. It's a shame that they don't have like adult beverages, but that's okay. Not everything has to have that.
That's right. Yeah, I remember one of the biggest games I had for 32X. You were talking about the CD. Was one of them was Doom, and
Here's a
another.
terrible report. Like, I
What's
hear
that?
it's a. I think the Doom for the 32X is probably one of the worst ports.
Oh, it was terrible. That and Mech Warrior, both of them were terrible. It was absolutely horrible.
It's like, it makes no sense. It's like, it's 32-bit. How did you fuck up the music? How did you fuck up the visual? Like, what the hell?
Music was terrible, dude. That was the worst part. The music, it wouldn't play half the time. It was so out of tune.
When the Super Nintendo like ups you on your 32-bit like endeavor, like there's a real problem.
That's right. Eternal Champions was an awesome fighting game. I do have to give Lewis.
I wish I never got on into that one. Oh, Sewer Shark, I friggin' like avoided that one.
I still use quotes from the game.
Oh,
I never even heard of Sewer Shark. Man, that's
it's
funny.
Like, it was original pack-in with the Sega CD. I think I had it too. I just I had no interest.
Like Sewer
And then
Shark,
there's
what is this?
It's a visual one of those video video type thing. You press a button, it goes in whatever direction, like kind of like Dragon's Lair, the animated game. Like you
Okay,
press a
yeah,
button.
Dragon's Lair 3D, where you would choose what you wanted to do and it'd go on to the next scene.
Yeah. Right, or you die or whatever. I
Yeah.
think that's what Sewer Shark is, but I mean, correct me. Please correct me.
I don't know. Lewis seems to know a lot about it.
There's a game I always wanted to get, and I did get it for the Switch. It's called Night Trap, which is this like cult game that's like basically playing a B movie, and you have to press buttons at the right time to like make things
So it's a
happen.
QTE game. Yeah.
It's like
so it's like the quick time.
Yeah, like pretty much, yeah. And I have it for the Switch, right? I tried playing it, like I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. This is frustrating. And then I didn't play it again. So
You were so excited to play this game and you downloaded it. Yeah, he said you're correct. Exactly like Dragon's Lair, but was live action, not animated.
Yep. Hey, I know my shit.
Hey, we played some terrible
games I never
crap.
even played. I know what they're about.
We played so many terrible games when we were young.
Oh,
and there were so many good
God,
ones too.
So many like terrible games out there. Do you ever watch the Angry Video Game Nerd?
No, I've never seen that before. You still there? No, I've never watched it before. Did I lose you?
Oh, you. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, lost me for a second, or I lost you.
Yeah, no problem. No, I've never seen that.
But like, Angry Video Game Nerd goes over all the trash from like the NES, Super NES, Genesis. Oh, it's like shock humor because it's like from the 2000s. So he like says "fuck," "shit," "ass" like all the time. It's hilarious. It's stupid though. He's still making videos after all these years. Like I think he started back in 2004 or earlier than that. And that dude's still making those videos. It's great. The coolest arcade game at Nickel Nickel that I ever played was over 10 years ago, and it was a game where you had a samurai sword, just the hilt, and the blade part was not there, but it was represented on screen where you're slicing and dicing. Oh, that's cool. I dig that. That sounds awesome. Oh, that is sad.
That's the way it always is, man.
That's
always the way it is, bud. I hear you, Jack. You finally get something you find that you love, and you go back and it's gone. And it's probably because of the violence. But hey, what can you say, right?
Well, it doesn't sound that violent. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I don't know. He said he was slicing and dicing people. So, like, I'm imagining, like, you've got this samurai sword and arms and heads are flying off and blood, like Mortal Kombat style in 3Ds, like, you know.
Right. See, I'm thinking, like, it is Mortal Kombat and it's still the 90s. It looks like that.
That was the greatest part about growing up in the 90s is you had all these games that had, like, insane gore and violence, and we loved them. And it was before people started blaming video games for why kids did stupid shit. And so now it's like every game, you got to tone that down.
I mean, look at your shirt right now and think about how that show was totally like penned for kids doing stupid shit back then in the 90s.
Yeah. I'm glad you noticed. It was Beavis and Butthead. How did you know? Nachos rule.
I'm from the 90s, yo.
I'm from the 90s, yo. I know exactly what those two hairstyles are. I don't even have to see their faces.
I don't have to see that. I know animation. That's like not new animation, but we were in feudal Japan and you were fighting other samurai ninja that were throwing stars at you and everything. It sounds so cool.
So now that
But
we've derailed into video games for
oh,
45 minutes, it doesn't take much to get derailed on this show. But it's great, you know. It's really great to sit and reminisce. And you know, we're talking about, you know, you got the Switch and you've got all these games and you're going back retro, and you know, it does tie into what we're talking about with the book, because the God Machine was something that you originally, the concept was 99. It was released in 2010, and now we got this revisioning that's happening. We're going back to something retro that you feel like, hey, I want to make this better. I want to make this the way I intended it to be.
yeah,
And so it's kind of like, you know, bringing it out on a new system, only you're bringing it out in a new
new,
and a new binding, and with a
yeah,
new face and a new story and better stuff to it.
yeah. I mean, it's the same story, but you know,
Yeah,
it's a better version of it.
it's a better version of the story, the way you meant it to be.
Yeah, I mean, so it's yes and no, because at the time I wanted to put forth my best effort, and that was at the time my best effort. Now it's like I know as an individual now, I'm not trying to George Lucas this shit, but you know, there's a little bit of that here, where I just think I know a lot more than I did before. And I think my audience, like new and old, will enjoy what I have to give them now and this package. And it's going to be hardbound. It's going to have like bells and whistles. Like we're probably going to put like one of the stringy things in there for the bookmark. And it's got spot glossing and all sorts of like, it's going to be a beautiful looking book. I mean, the original was also a beautiful looking book as well.
Well, and that's one of the things, you know, there's not very many creators out there that'll say, "Oh, I love my first book in the way that I presented it to the public," you know, when I first released it. I would say 99.9% of creators will go back and go, "What piece of hot garbage did I release to these people all these years ago?" Like, if I could go back and take it back, I would. But, you know, it's good to be able to say that, because it means you grew as a creator. You said
Yeah,
this was not as good as I can make it. I can make this
yeah,
better. And you have that
absolutely.
opportunity once you grow that fan base to go back and say, this is how I truly should have represented this to you
Yeah.
all those years ago. Not that it was bad, it just wasn't
No,
my best. And this
and that,
is my better version of it.
as a storyteller, I mean, like the visuals are still quite good. I mean, my boyfriend, my partner, he tells me a lot of times that like the visuals are so good, Chan. So I have to believe him because you know, and there's so many people who have identified with the book. Like I've had so many stories of like people coming to me and being like, you know, you got me through a difficult time. Like somebody's like fiance had died, and she would like. Oh my God, Rob, what was that a reference to? What did I say?
No, I said 99.9% of creators can go back and say, this was not my best work. He said the other 0.01% is bad.
I hear Rob Liefeld is a very nice guy.
I do too. I hear that as well. We're just gonna push this off as hearsay. We're just gonna believe you on that, Jack.
No comments.
No comment.
No, I would like to say, is there enough pockets in my art? I don't think there is. Not in comparison. No one will ever compare to him in pockets.
There's not enough pockets.
Not enough pockets.
And that's what I loved about. That is really funny though. Bloodstrike Brutalist. There is a Rob Liefeld cover on there, and it's the first appearance of the pouch, and it's literally this guy is his suit. And I'll have to bust it out now that Jack's. I'll have to post it later on the page, but it's literally the character's name is the pouch. Rob Liefeld drew it, and it's just a character with like 100 pockets on it. Like it literally is. It's hilarious.
I love that.
Hold on, we gotta bring this up. The pouch. Here, we'll put it on screen. We'll make it that much better. The pouch. Bloodstrike.
I have to see this. This sounds like
Oh, you're
Rob
gonna love
Liefeld.
it. It's hilarious. I died laughing when I seen it. All right, here we go. We got the pouch. We're gonna bring it up on screen. Stand by. Stand by for greatness, everyone. As my computer crashes. No, I'm just kidding.
I hope not.
Probably. We're not gonna lie. It's probably gonna happen.
It was too much pouch for your computer.
Yeah, it was too much pouch. We're sorry. You ran out of RAM. There's not enough RAM on any computer available to show how many pouches are in the character that Rob Liefeld created. Oh, it's too much. All right, here we go. StreamYard, share screen. The pouch, Bloodstrike Brutalist.
I'm excited.
All right, so here we go, everybody. Yeah, so here's the one where he's like crucified. Oh, here we go. We'll bring this one up. Go full screen. Sorry, guys. It's going to take a second.
Computer's thinking about it. Oh, yeah. My God. How is this real?
Oh, it's legit.
How? What?
All right, come on. Why is it not catching up on here? It's showing on the one screen. Oh, I know why. Because I got it. Hold on. I got to re-screen share because it opened in a new tab.
I kind of see it.
All right. Yeah, I got to bring it up. It opened in a new tab. I'm like trying to figure out why it didn't come up. It's because it opened in a new tab. Here we go. So there we go. Here is the pouch. It's literally a guy. Like his face is a pouch. His whole vest is a pouch. His fingers are pouches. Like it's nothing but pouches. And you got his little pouch drone. Right?
It hasn't come up for me yet. But I'm like, oh, there it is.
Oh, it hasn't come up for you yet.
How is this? Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh my God. It's Rob in the joke. He knows. He understands. But I'm surprised that there's hands and feet. Like, I'm a little. It's just. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh no! Look, the hand is legitimately made up of pouches.
I'm floored. I don't know what I. This is the ultimate of comicdom here, right now. I should give up comics now. I can't come up with anything better than this.
Yeah, and then you got, like you said, you got the little pouch drone down here. He like, go on, pouchy. And like even his knee and even his crotch, it's a pouch.
It's a pouch. That's a crotch pouch.
That's his fanny pack. Oh man, how did we get derailed on that? Thanks a lot for that, Jack. See the things that mine does. The only reason I know that is I actually own copies and graded in 9.8, signed by Rob Liefeld of those books.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Because I'm like, these are freaking hilarious. And Bloodstrike was a great comic book series. It had really good moments in it in its early years. Bloodstrike Brutalist is okay. I just really like the covers, especially the Dan Fraga covers. They're just phenomenal. But I seen they had Liefeld covers, and I'm like, the pouch. Seriously, I have to own this. Like one day it's gonna be worth millions.
It'll be worth something.
I guess. Thanks for that, Jack. I blame Jack. Everybody, go back and just harass Jack over that of us that you even had to see a character made out of pouches. I mean, yes, I did bring it up. He probably didn't even know that existed. I probably just blew his mind. That's why he's not commenting anymore. Like he just passed out from a heart attack.
We lost Jack to a pouch attack.
A pouch attack. Oh, this day will forever go down in infamy. Chan's gonna always remember this show because she was introduced to the pouch.
The pouches.
At least I made a mark. I mean, at least I made it memorable, I guess. What did you say? I'm missing the last part of the show because my brother and his family are leaving, so I I didn't hear what you just said.
Oh
no, we're not going to tell him either. You have to go back and watch it, Jack. Because of you derailed the entire show and made people see something that they can now never unsee. And it kind of made Chan's day, so it was worth it, you know. So.
I now knew something I did not know before. So good. So good.
So I want to touch on something else before we call it a night. I don't want to keep you all night. I know we're having a great time and all, but everybody unfortunately has to start their Mondays tomorrow. So if you had one thing to choose about the reimagining of God Machine as being your favorite, what is your favorite part about redoing the series?
Rewriting the script.
Rewriting the script.
Because I love a good portion of the book already. Like, it's my child. I love the first volume a lot. And I mean, I'm adding more pages and stuff like that. But I think, like, I was always intimidated by the writing. Writing was never my strong suit because, you know, I'm an artist writer kind of thing. Art has always been the thing, and I never considered myself a writer per se, but I feel like that's different now. I think I'm better now. I understand more than I did before. So I think the revision, like having the script being refined, readjusted, and made to bump up those characterizations to like really have better story, and then also extend those scenes and stuff like that. I think that's where people are going to find a lot more in here than before. Especially like old fans are going to be treated to this new text and be like, oh, I've read this, but I haven't. This is interesting, you know? And of course, let's see, don't worry, I always tell Russell to blame me. And he's, oh, you have a good symbiotic relationship.
And it almost always is his fault anyway. So at least he accepts it, right?
That's true. That's true. But yeah, I think the story aspect is fixed in a lot of ways. And I think it's going to be a really great new edition of the book and a good place to start and relaunch the series into like book 2, book 3, book 4, and all that. Like, it's really it's something that I've always wanted to do, but it's always been messed up by whatever my situations have been. I've, you know, as a struggling artist, you can't always work on your heart projects. You have to
you got to work on other stuff to pay the bills.
Right, exactly. And so it's always been a case of that, because I've had different situations in my life that allowed me to be able to create the God Machine. And then I've had other times where it's like nearly impossible, and it's been a struggle. And I'm really excited to finally get it going and have it go forward like it should have in the first place.
So this book won't complete the story. You have some more of the story that you need to write for it, and this is kind of like you're getting back on track. You're revisiting what was already done, and you're like, we're going for the gold this time. We're finishing the story and the way it needs to be told.
Yeah, and book 2 has been written for a very long time. It's being worked on at this moment. You can see behind the scenes stuff of that over at my Patreon, which is like patreon.com/spookychan. So if anyone's interested in like throwing money my way so I can actually make a comic and see some behind the scenes stuff, always appreciate it. So that's where some of the roughs of those are happening, and I'm gonna adjust some things over there pretty soon. But volume 2 is happening. Volume 3 script is done, and we're just plowing on through. Like, let's keep on going. Like, it's my life's work, you know, at this point. Like, I love this series. I want to tell this story. I've touched people's lives. Like I was telling you, a girl who lost her fiance, and she like brings the book to his gravesite and reads it to him. all the time. And then there's a person who lost his wife to cancer, and the first like page like really spoke to him. And there's another story of a kid who lost his friends in a car accident, lost his teeth and all that, and he used to like sneak at the Barnes and Noble, like reading my book, and he would just do that every so often, like until he finished the book. He couldn't afford it at the time, but then like he met me at a convention that I wasn't even supposed to be at, and he like lost his shit, and he bought the leather bound edition from me at that time. There is no more leather bound, by the way. But what I learned from the caregiver that was with him, she came over and was like, you have no idea how that got him through that time. He looked forward to reading your book every weekend at the Barnes and Noble. I like nearly lost my shit after that, because like
Well, it's humbling. It's totally
it's
humbling to have your heart project mean something to other people and be an
exactly,
inspiration for them, because it's what you set out to
yeah,
do. You don't want to just entertain people,
absolutely.
you want to touch them. And to
I
hear these stories of people being touched by your story is just,
Yeah,
it's the greatest sentiment you could ever receive.
it's exactly what I set out in my life to do, to be honest, like to touch people's lives. I mean, like I want to entertaining is touching people's lives in a lot of ways. Like you give them a moment to get away from it all.
That's right.
And you know, and whether or not like they identify with the content and they're like it speaks to them, like that's a whole nother level. And like from all sorts of different things. I mean, like the book is a little heavy with a person dealing with the loss of their girlfriend, and you know, going through depression and things like that. There's monsters, there's humor, there's gods and strange things like that happening, but there's also a real core thing of a human who's struggling with his world and his surroundings, and that's just the beginning of his journey, learning about the fact that his girlfriend might still be alive. And these monsters might actually be real. Or are they part of his mind? Who knows? We'll
Who
find out.
knows? We'll find out. Well, it was really great having you on tonight. I really enjoyed talking to you about, your inspirations and, having our retro throwback there for a while. And it's really cool to see creators out there still pushing to, get their heart and soul project out there, even through all the stuff that we've been through with like 2020 and, the struggles and the hardships and the cons being closed down. We're all still pushing to create and get our stories told. And so it's great to hear that something that you started, 22 years ago and that you published going on 11 years ago, you're revamping it, you're restarting it, and you're moving on with book 2, and you're going to finally, sorry, I can't speak tonight, finish the story. And that's great to hear.
Yeah. I mean, that's it's what I love. It's so much a part of me, and I can't say no to it. And you know, and even if I'm publishing it myself through my company at this moment, I mean, like I literally could have went to another publisher and gotten it published. That was not too much of a worry. There was a publisher in mind, but I thought, you know what? Let's do it my way. Let's do it this way, because I feel like it needs to be in my hands at the moment, and it needs to be like has a personal touch. Um, and you
I
know,
couldn't
I'm
agree
just
more.
yeah. I mean, like I love a lot of publishers. A lot of publishers are also not very good. And the cat is back, by the way.
Yeah, and I mean, I totally understand your sentiment. You have something that you have nurtured for a long time, and it's trusting someone else to be that bridge for you to get your heart and soul project to
It's
these people in
right. It's
condition they should be received in. And that's why I have my guy, I went to Kickstarter instead of publishing my book through a publisher like a normal
yeah,
person author does. I want
yeah,
to do it myself. I don't want to just be like, hey, I sold all these books, because I didn't sell anything. Somebody else sold my books. I want
yeah,
to handle each book. I want to write, hey, do you want me to inscribe something to you. I want to have that personal touch and know that I packaged this book and then I sent it to somebody and know that I had the experience with the end user of this product. And just like with you, you know, with the God Machine, when people buy this product's coming from you. It was personally handled by you, and it just gives the end user that much more of a personal relationship with that creator, just because you know it came from them and you know them personally. It's not just you went to Walmart and you picked this book up off the shelf and you're like, oh, this looks cool, let's check this out, who the hell wrote this?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a different personal kind of experience going on here, and let's get him back into the public eye here. But you know, Kickstarter really it puts you in touch with fans. It brings you closer to people, and they're directly supporting you. They're not directly supporting another entity or where you go halvesies on things. Like, I mean, what we're doing is we're covering the costs of printing the book and all the goodies and the taxes and all that other fun stuff that comes with Kickstarter. But it allows me to have a surplus, so I can also sell it myself. And, you know, I'm not sharing a percentage with a publisher, and I do own it all, and I do make the calls, and I know what's going on with the money in a lot of ways, you know, whereas
and you have stuff to put towards book 2. You're not just split, you're not just making back what you put into it, you're making it all back to be able to put into book 2 and make two better. And then the same thing you do.
It's a hope that happens. I mean, like, the first thought is always, I got cat hair on my glossy lips, great. It's so good. But it's the idea that eventually this will make money. Right now, that's not necessarily I want to make money. I'm not an idiot. But the first thought is, I want to get this back in the hands of people. I want this published again. I want this experience to happen again. And I want to get new fans. I want to get old fans. I want to, like, you know, just start afresh, anew, and then
reignite.
Revision. Revision of my life in a lot of ways, and then hopefully make some money, because that would be really nice, because I'm an artist. I don't make money.
And that's a great thing, you know. Like I said, you know, the point is to hopefully, you know, at the end of it all, by doing it all yourself, you can improve each book as you go and make each book bigger and better, and you'll make it a better product, and where people, you know, because like if you go through a publisher, every book's going to be made exactly the same. The publisher is going to put the exact same amount of energy and money into it. You're going to get the same amount of money. They're going to get the same amount of money. But with publishing it yourself, you can make book 2 like bigger, longer, better.
I can do whatever I want, pretty much. I mean, like,
everybody says at the end, I want to trade. You can put it all together in a trade. You don't have to ask questions. You're like, I will do that. The fans demand it. I will do it.
Right. Not this. My first publisher, Archaea, did a bang up job with the treatment of the first book. It's gorgeous. You know, to this day, it's a lot to say. Like, that's my first book that I ever put out, and it looks fucking gorgeous. You can find it on Amazon, but I'd rather people put money towards me at this moment for my Kickstarter.
Definitely.
Because we're on the home stretch here. We got 10 days. It'll be 9 in the morning, and we're 65% backed, and we still have a distance to go. I know there's that whole thing of, like, you know, the end day, everybody finally decides to do a thing, but it's like we're trying to get 24K, and we're at like 15.6, I think I looked at last, or 15.7. I don't know, math numbers. I haven't looked in a while. It's been a rough day. It actually has been a very rough day.
No, I you know what? I was working 62 hours a week and running my Kickstarter. It just ended last week, and it is, unless you've ran one and had the stress of it, it makes for a rough time. It really does, because you have the ups, and you have that day where you get 5 or 6 new pledges, but then you have that one big drop, and so you get right back where you started, and you're like, oh my god,
it's
and
really hard. It's like Kickstarter is hard by itself, and we just had a personal family emergency today, and so it's things are a little bit more complicated than they were before. Didn't put out a push for our 10-day leftover, so we it's hard. It's really hard, especially like a lot of people don't realize that they could pledge at any time, and they're not charged until like if we get funded. So the last second thing is pretty frightening.
it is really frightening. It is really frightening. And the thing is, as a creator, it's not, people are like, oh, I don't know why you're not worried about it. It's nice to have the satisfaction of knowing that your heart and soul project, whether it's 2 weeks or a week and a half from the end date, is funded, to know that I'm going to have a few each day. I'm going to lose a few each day. But as long as I maintain where I'm at, this is going out to the people to be read, to be enjoyed. This heart and soul project is I'm going to get feedback on it. And it's like, it's having that satisfaction of knowing that. And so that's my call out to everyone out there in the audience that has watched tonight. Anybody that goes back and watches this and makes it through our 45-minute derail onto Star Trek: The Next Generation and video games and all that fun stuff, because now you know so much more about Chan. Please share this out there. Every Kickstarter, no matter how big or how small, share. If you guys don't have the money to back it, put a share out there. If you have the money to back it, put a share out there. Drop $1. That's one of the greatest things about Kickstarter over Indiegogo is people can follow you on Kickstarter. And if you go to Chan's project and you throw $1 on it because you're kind of hurting for money right now, you may have 300 people that follow you on Kickstarter that now are going to get an email that said, so-and-so backed the God Machine on Kickstarter. And you're going to be like, what's the God Machine? And you're going to go look at it. And it just creates that ripple that helps everybody to see the project and get the word out there, because Lord, do I know about sharing stuff out and you getting buried in the Facebook algorithms, because they're like, look at Mr. Spammy McSpammerson, because I am the God King of sharing. Trust me, I get my warnings all the time about, you need to slow your roll or we're going to put you in handcuffs and haul you off to Facebook jail. I'm like, bring it on. Are they fuzzy handcuffs?
Are they pink fuzzy handcuffs?
Yeah, they pink fuzzy handcuffs. Am I going to get a spandex? Am I going to get a spandex onesie? Is it going to be orange? What's the share thing? What's the share thing? So please, Jack, go share that link out. Share this lovely link out right here. And I know you know what I mean. But
also, it's also really easy if you don't take this link, go to thegodmachine.org and it'll also take you to the page. And check out the updates. I've been writing about, I've gone in depth with the what I changed with the text. There's also a whole section of comic pages that are brand new that you can read with Taylor's letters. There's some goodies in there, and there's also some shareable images as well. So definitely check out the updates on the Kickstarter page. And I think it's only $5 or $10, you get a backer credit in the book. So if you don't want to make a commitment to the book, you can. I think. How much is that? I feel like I need to go look at that.
All right, so I'll pop it up here real quick. I got it pulled up. Hold on, stand by. It is $5 for a whopping $5 right here. Okay, well, in about 10 minutes it'll pop up. So for right here, all right, that's move out of the way.
So backer credit is $10.
Yeah, backer is 10 credit. There we go. Sorry.
So you get to be in the book, even if you don't buy the book. So you can say you helped. And $15 gets you the PDF. So if you don't want to commit to the beautiful book that we're going to give you, you can do that. And $35 gets you a book and a bookmark. And free shipping to the United States, by the way. All the stuff
thank you. And thank you. We're all going to have a nice long talk one of these weeks about Kickstarters and how people should do shipping in them. And so thank you very much for not being that person that you're like, well, oh, the book is, so we've had the shock factor where we're like, hey, check out this book that's $35. And you click on it, and then the next page, it's like $40 for shipping. You're like, what in the hell?
Well, here's also the problem. Like, actually, to ship this book, it's going to cost me about $15 because USPS has gone up in pricing. But we have factored in shipping into our goal as well. So, but we are charging for people out of states for shipping because it just doesn't make sense otherwise. Because we can't account for like all that money. So. Great show, Russell. Chandra, is cool hearing your story and finding your artwork. Night all night, Stephanie. Thank you. So God, shipping on Kickstarter is like the bane of my existence. I hate it. I hate it so much. Like, I still think I fucked up something. I'm sure of it. Other thing. There's a whole new system called add-ons. So like if you add on things to your package in the States, it does add a little bit of money for shipping, just because we're not accounting for these things. But like if you add on a comic page, it costs like an extra, God, I don't know, not that much. But you know, like there's signatures or free shipping. Like I hate charging for signatures, but this is an easy way to like help support the project, and it's just going to be a really hard time like signing everything at the end of the day. Because usually like at conventions, I don't charge for you know, signatures. If that derails you from getting a signature now, that's fine. Eventually there'll be a convention, I will sign your book. Guaranteed.
Yeah, that's just a way to help, you know, cover costs for the Kickstarter, and the fact that you have to sort through all of these surveys to find out who wants their book signed, who doesn't want their book signed. Lord behold, you send your book to somebody signed that didn't want it signed, and you get this long 30-page email about how they specifically said they didn't want their book signed, and you signed it anyway, and how dare you, and they want a different. Yeah, sorry, you know what's going to happen.
There's always something.
There's always something. So I get it. I get it.
You know, we're just trying to make this happen, and that's why like some things are priced the way they are. I mean, the paintings are like legit money, but it's like, you know, trying to make some money to make this book happen, and you know, like. Anything is considered helpful. If you're just sharing, if you can't put in the money for it, I get it. I'm right there with you. I don't have money to put towards a lot of projects myself. Like I'm a broke artist. I can't, you know, it's just, that's how it is. And I mean, this economy is hard, and I get it. So if you can just share and like just share to people who might have a like-minded kind of idea or might be interested in this book, please. I appreciate it from the bottom of my dark little heart. My dark little retro heart.
Well, Chandra, I'm going to give you the big screen. I want to give you a chance to give everyone a rundown about what the God Machine is about one more time for those just joining, or those who are going to go back and watch later and might skip through bits and pieces. Give everybody the elevator pitch and where they can find you. So maybe if I can figure this out without messing it up. Just kidding. Go for it.
All right. Let's do this. So, let me tell. Here we go. I'm in widescreen format. Hello. Of course, my name is Chandra Free. I'm the sole creator of The God Machine, which I'm doing a Kickstarter for. It's reprint edition. The God Machine Volume 1, Revision. And basically, the start of the tale is about Guy Salvador, who's having a really, really difficult time. His girlfriend just recently died, and he's starting to see monsters and things, and he's not sure what's real and what's not. Then a mysterious man comes to him and tells him that his girlfriend is actually still alive, floating in and out of what is known as the dream worlds, and that Guy is the only one who can go and save her. Is this real? Is this fantasy? Or what? There's gods, there's monsters, there's teen angst, there's comedy. It's a whole buffet of things. And we're running a Kickstarter right now at thegodmachine.org. Yes, that takes you right to the Kickstarter. And we're looking to fund a book to get this printed in a deluxe edition with newly revised text, new scenes, new art, like new artwork, revised artwork, all sorts of stuff is going into this, and just a pristine hardbound book, 180 pages. It's going to be lovely, babies. It's going to be great. You can find me all sorts of places at spookychan.com, at patreon.com/spookychan, and also at spookychan almost anywhere, on the Twitters, on the Instagrams. On Facebook, you can find me at Chandra Free or the Chandra Free if you don't want to follow my regular account. It really doesn't matter, to be honest. But please check us out at Kickstarter. Again, we're running till April 7th. We've got 10 days left, and I hope you're all doing good, and I hope you stay spooky.
And one last question. I don't know what that means, but
yes, they're absolutely correct. My friend made these for me. They're adorable.
Well, thanks for being on, Chandra. I will kick you to the back room for a little bit if you want to hang out for a chat for a few minutes after the show. I'm going to say my goodbyes, and I'll be back. Okay. Thanks for being here. Right. Thanks, everyone, so much for being here tonight and listen to Chan talk about this incredible project that sounds like it's from the heart. And it sounds like an incredible journey. And it's so nice to see creators pushing through everything that's happened. And Lewis, thank you for being here. Very cool. Nice to meet you. Great show. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys being here. Definitely, check this project out. It's great to see that she's finally kicking back in gear. I understand the struggles of trying to make ends meet and pay the bills and do the stuff that keeps those bills paid. But I also understand the struggle of having this project that's your heart and soul that you've had sitting behind you that you're like, I really want to do this and need to make this happen. And this is her time to shine. And we're going to kick this first book into the stratosphere and blow it out for everyone to see and get book 2 published, hopefully here pretty soon. So guys, share that link. Show the love, get it out there in the world, throw a few dollars at it if you can, and make this happen for her. So thanks so much for being here tonight, everyone. As always, Russ Explode Studios, projects that'll blow your mind. Everyone, have a great night and have a great week.